Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Project 31. I am your host, Randy Maw, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Today we woke up with a little bit of snow and a little bit of rain, but we still say it is a great day. It's November. What's on my heart today is no limits, no boundaries, November. That's what we're going to talk about today. No limits, no boundaries, November in this season. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know if you can feel it. I don't know if you can tell what's going on, but there's something going on. I got a sneaky suspicion that God is about to do something amazing. First of all, we can say because of all hell that's breaking loose against us. You know, it's like every time you turn around, it's something trying to get you out of your hookup and off course. But it's because it's like you're so close to the breakthrough and the blessing that God has for you. Of course, the enemy wants you to stop now. But we serve notice on him because the only word in our vocabulary today is forward. We will not quit. We will not give up. We will not be distracted. But we stand in anticipation for whatever God has for us. All right? So no limits, no boundaries, November. Just recently, God spoke a word over our house talking about the blessing that's coming our way that we don't have to fight for and that we don't have to work for. Let me tell you, I received it. I received it with open arms, open spirit, open mind. God, however you're going to bless, I am here for it. Okay? Can I just give you some motivation? Can I motivate you on this Monday? Because I want to talk about it. I remember trying to figure out what this wealth was that I believed I could have. I always had this feeling like, man, there's more for me. Or, you know, this is not the hand that I have. This right here, this position that I'm in right now, this is not it. Like I always felt like there's more. I always felt like there was a next level. I always felt like I can have more, like I can tap into wealth. I can tap into abundance. I can tap into overflow. I just always felt that way. I mean, even as a kid, I remember, you know, my vision and my goals were just so huge. Like who in the world, you know, a kid thinks about heated floors and fish in the ground. And one of our, a science teacher, he gave us the ability to tap into our creative side. He gave us full reign of creating our dream home. And I sat down at my paper and I just thought about this house, and I wanted to have stepping stones in the living room with fish in the floor. I wanted to have heated floors in the kitchen so your feet wouldn't be cold when you went to go get the midnight snack. I mean, it was literally no limits and no boundaries. Think about your life for a second. What would you create? Where would you go? What would you do if you had no limits and you had no boundaries? If you had unlimited funds, what would you do? Would you just splurge on yourself, or would you do something for other people? What would be your vision if you had no limits, if you had no boundaries, if you had unlimited resources? Think about it for a second, because we serve a God who owns everything, and because we're connected to him, we do have unlimited resources. We have unlimited resources, but we still have to tap into it. They're not just going to fall from the sky. So I remember trying to figure it out. And the Bible tells us that God has given us the power to get wealth. Sometimes we do think God is just going to hand it over to us. Like, no, he's not going to do it for us. He's given us the power to get wealth, which means he's given us the strategy. He's giving us the plan. He's giving us strategy, and he's giving us a plan to be able to tap into this wealth that we can obtain. So we have to do something. And when I think about this, I mean, it just stirs something up on the inside, because it's just like, Randy, you can have greater. Randy, there is greater. The reason why you're desiring this, the reason why you're pressing towards this, and the reason why you're seeing this in your heart and in your mind is because you can have it. I remember hearing a teaching a while ago from Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he basically was talking about multiple streams of income. And he was saying basically not to limit yourself, and how when I look at him, you know, he's involved not just in preaching, not just in the church, but he's in the media industry where he's making movies, he's producing movies, he's writing movies. I mean, he's in politics. You know, we can't limit ourselves just to the one thing. You're not put on this earth just to work a 9 to 5. What is your purpose? I've been talking about purpose. I hope that this will incite you to begin to find, what am I supposed to do, or what other creative things can I do? You are an inventor. You're a creator. You can be in media. You can be in politics. You can be in the arts. You can be in sports. You can be in teaching. You can do community activism. You can do basically anything that you put your mind to, because God has given us this power. When I thought about it, they say on average, a millionaire, they don't have one stream of income. They have at least 7. And here we are, I can only talk about me, sitting here living paycheck to paycheck, possibly one check away from poverty. Come on. But right now, it's just in us to break that spirit of poverty and to break that poverty mentality and that poor position. God doesn't want us to live in that way. He doesn't want us living in paycheck to paycheck, because we're 1 second away from being depressed. We're 1 second away from being completely stressed out and ready to give it all up because we feel we don't have what it takes to meet our needs. But God is able to meet our needs. And on top of that, He is able to exceed our expectation. But we can't just sit there. Don't just sit there. Do something. When I say don't just sit there, do something, I'm not saying you got to be out here working these crazy hours, drilling yourself down into the ground, wearing yourself out, because sometimes that is our number one solution, or that's what we feel like our number one solution is. I'm going to just run and get a part-time job. Do you know how many times I have said to myself, I'm going to go get a part-time job? Only to be like, Randy, where in your time, where in your day do you think you can fit in a part-time job? And it's like, no, we don't have to do that. There's other things that God has given us and blessed us with to create income and to create this wealth. We have to find that place of balance. There is a way to be in a place of balance, to be in a place of working, to be in a place of creativity, and to be in a place of God's will. Our time is valuable. So you have to figure out where to use your time and where and how you can be most effective with your time. T.D. Jakes, his quote says, "You are only limited by your own creativity." If you feel all you can do is work 9 to 5, that's what you're going to do. But if you feel like you can work 9 to 5, plus do what your heart desires, plus be creative, plus whatever God has sparked on the inside of you, then you can do that. Because, people, they work all the time and then they don't live. Or they work all the time on somebody else's dream and then give no room for their own. When I think about the thing that God has put on the inside of us, and I'm like, God, what is it? What is this? What way can I create income? What other way can I take the limits off? Can I take the boundaries away from me? I think about Moses right here. You don't have to search far for what God has put on the inside of you. It's this simple. In Exodus 4, this is when God was talking to Moses about what he was about to do in the land, how he was about to free his people. And he chose this man, although he felt unqualified to do this work and to bring great change. He like, you know what? I'm not even worthy to do it. But then he was able to turn around and do it. Moses said to him, "What if they do not believe me or listen to me and say the Lord did not appear to you?" Then the Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" I believe God is asking us this question right now, because we're saying, what am I going to do? What am I going to offer to the world? What am I going to put out there? God is saying, what is in your hand? Moses said, a staff. See, we're looking at what's in our hand as something basic, as something that has helped us get to this point in our life. But God is saying, I want to use that. I want to use that thing that's in your hand. The Lord said, throw it on the ground. Moses threw it on the ground and it became a snake, and he ran from it. Then the Lord said to him, reach out your hand and take it by the tail. So Moses reached out and took hold of the snake, and it turned back into a staff in his hand. This, said the Lord, is so that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. Then the Lord said, put your hand inside your cloak. So Moses put his hand into his cloak. When he took it out, the skin was leprous. It had become as white as snow. Now put it back into your cloak, he said. So Moses put his hand back into his cloak, and when he took it out, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. Listen, let me tell you this. You may say, Randy, okay, I get what you're saying. So he had a staff in his hand, it became a snake. He took his hand and he had leprosy, and then it was restored. Let me tell you the power in this story right here. It's the purpose. It's the God purpose of what's in our hand that will become the blessing. God controls the outcome of our obedience. When I looked at this scripture, because it always stands out to me, what's in your hand, what's in your hand, what's in your hand. Like God, he gives us everything that we need to be successful. He has given us gifts and talents and abilities that we can use to make a difference in the world. God was sending Moses to make a difference in the world, and he was going to use what was in his hand. But it wasn't necessarily what was in his hand. It was the fact that Moses trusted the instruction of God, and that is what brought the result. Moses asked for a sign. God gave instruction. Moses followed the instruction every time, and then boom, there goes some results. You want some results? Ask God to show you how to be obedient to his instruction. It was a rod. It was blessed by God, and it then became whatever it needed to be in that moment. It became access to miracles. It became access to breakthrough. It became access to the next level. God is blessing us with multiple streams of income. I believe that wholeheartedly. When I think about even my little short time of getting over fear, and because I was so just stuck in this, oh, Randy, you can't do this. You're not skilled in this area. You're not business minded. You've never written a play before. You've never put on a production before. You've never written a book before. So many thoughts of doubt used to attack my mind, but God is saying, what's in your hand? You're asking me to bless, but then you're afraid to put forth what I've given you. Every time I stepped out on faith and threw it on the ground, which ultimately means surrendered it to God's will. When I took it out of my hands and put it into the atmosphere, when I said, God, I'm trusting you with it. Bless it indeed. Enlarge it. Let your hand be with it. Keep it from evil. God, when I put it in his hands, he was able to turn it around. So don't feel bad for wanting more. You can have more, but are you willing to do what it takes to have more? Listen, don't let the opinions of others drive you away from what's on the table. We're here to eat. You only got one life to live, so don't waste it being limited by your own thoughts or by the influence of others. Sometimes there's people out here that's trying to discourage you from making the next move or taking the next move, taking that business idea, bringing it to the forefront. It's because they're too afraid to do it. They're too afraid to step out on faith. They don't believe that they can do it, so they're telling you that you can't do it. But this isn't their walk. This isn't their blessing. Walk in your blessing. I like to look at different things because Google is our friend. Google will have you out here lit, knowing what you're talking about. I looked up different ways to create income, and it was so funny because so many small ideas that can turn into multi-million ideas are here, and all it takes is just you to grab hold of that one thing, submitting it to God, and just trusting that God, if it's your will, you will bless it indeed. I hope that you can be encouraged by some of these things, that some of these things you will step out of fear, that you will step out of worry, and that you will tap into that creativity that's on the inside of you. I find myself talking about creativity a lot, but it's because we are creative beings. We are created by the Creator, and his spirit is on the inside of us. So yes, create your way out of your situation. So a few things that I want to just mention, different ways to create passive income. One was to make YouTube videos. People are millionaires because of YouTube videos. Now, trust me, being a YouTube sensation does not happen overnight. That's where consistency comes in. You have to be consistent. You have to be persistent. You have to promote. You have to get out of fear and keep putting your content out there and believing that, hey, maybe the right person can get a hold of it, or maybe this can bless the right person, or, you never know. You can wake up going from 10 views a day to 10 million views a day just in a twinkling of an eye, but it's because God put his finger on it. You just never know. Another one was to put your photography to work on the web. And that's something that I even want to do. My husband and I, when we launched our photography company, one of the things that I was thinking about was, maybe I need to figure out how to monetize, our photos. And that's one of the ways that people literally can make money while they sleep. And that sounds so good to me. Let me catch these Z's while still securing the bag. And I can't wait for next week's topic because we're going to talk about that, securing the bag. So then another one was to purchase stocks. Now, that's something I would like to get into. I don't really know about stocks all like that, but that is a definite way to create income. You just have to get connected to someone who is familiar with that, because there are, of course, with any type of investment, there's chances of loss. And right now, we want to win. We want to gain. So get with somebody that can teach you about that. Another one is to write an ebook. Me as an author, because another suggestion is to simply write a book. As an author, sometimes it's hard because you feel we're in a tech age and people are straying away more and more from actually reading hardback books. So write an ebook. Get creative. Know how the times are changing and know how to cater to your audience. Another one was to sell your own products on the internet. Listen, everybody and their mama got a store online, but that's okay. What will work for you will work for you. If you make products, if I just met with a lady the other evening and she makes organic skincare products, she makes fragrances and candles. Look, God has blessed her hands, and I pray a blessing upon her life. Whatever God has blessed your hands to do, do it and do it good, and then make some money off of it. Sell what you have. Invest in real estate, buy or create a blog, pay off credit card debt. Hello. Of course, like I said, write a book and collect royalties, set up a website selling other people's product. Maybe you don't have a product of your own, but there's still ways that you can go and sell other people's product. Another suggestion was become a silent partner in a business. Rent out unused space on Airbnb. Airbnb is the thing and the place to be right now. I mean, people are renting out their homes, making money. If you have a real estate property or if you have an extra room, I mean, if it's a nice area, people will pay to come and stay in your room. There's so many different ways out here to make money. Build an app. One of the young ladies that I follow on social media, she created an app, Sprinkle of Jesus, and she's out here encouraging people, touching people's lives, simply because she made an app. Like we used to hear, there's an app for that. Whoever made the app to a leveler app, like you're genius. How many people literally own a leveler? If you're not some type of, tool-toting dude out here, you ain't got no leveler. But guess what? There's an app for that. Anything you could think of, there's literally an app for. There's so many things. Create an online course. If you are an expert in something, or even if you feel like, this right here that I know, I want to share it with the world, create an online course, make an online guide. It's just so many different things that you can do that can create wealth, that can generate wealth, that can put you in a different place so you're not out here worrying about the enemy messing with your money funny and your change is strange. No, we can give it all over to God and trust that He has really called us to be blessed going in, blessed going out, blessed in the city, blessed in the field. These are our blessings. As one of our pastors in our church said, we are above only. We are above only. He only wants us to experience the best. He only wants us to trust in Him and to believe in Him and to know that He's going to supply every need. Sometimes we're out here just expecting God to just create manna out of nothing, which He is able to do. But He also gives us the responsibility and the creativity to make something happen. If you create something and give it over to Him, He can bless it 100-fold. Your genius is the solution to someone's problem. Be a solution and you will become a source. Listen, and when you figure it out, charge what you're worth. This right here was a personal struggle of mine. Charge what you're worth, because people will pay for what they want. Don't sell yourself short right now. Don't sell yourself short. What you have to offer, it is unique. It is one of a kind, and it is blessed by God. There's somebody out here who will fund your entire vision because they believe in you. So don't sell yourself short. I seen a meme the other day that says that their work ethic is on Beyonce. Listen, we all got the same 24 hours in a day that she has, and she's out here killing the game. How much more can we flourish and be prosperous if we trust in God? If we tap into this creative gene that He has given us and just be about His business. I hope that you were motivated. I hope that you can take something from today's episode, get excited, tuck away and try to get the vision. God, what gift have you given me? What ability can I bring to the table? What can you bless indeed? What's in my hand, God? And then when I realize it, give me the boldness to bring it to the table. And then when I bring it to the table, give me the spirit of consistency so that I can continue to produce, so I can continue to provide. Listen, we all can eat. We all can be blessed because we serve a never-ending God who owns everything. He's able to exceed our expectations. He's able to provide. He's able to produce. And He wants to do it through you. I hope that you were encouraged. Make sure you share this with someone who needs a little motivation today, who needs to get off their tail and get to work. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe this, rate it and review this podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to tune in for next week's episode as we talk about securing the bag.